This is the live podcast with Manuel, living in full expression. Welcome to the live podcast with me, your host Manuel. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about what happens when someone says yes to your program. If you have been following in our previous episode, I guess by now you've identified your expertise, you've attracted your ideal client, you've set confident pricing, and you've now enrolled your first paying client who had just said yes. So I want to say big congratulations to you. But there's that moment right after someone pays you, and then you think, oh, how am I actually going to deliver this transformation as I promised? What if I mess up? If that sounds familiar, I want to say welcome to the panic that every new expert feels. So it means you're normal. And here's the truth. Structure creates freedom and framework creates transformation. Your clients aren't paying you to figure things out as you go. They are paying you for a proven path from where they are to where they want to be. So in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to structure your client's program so you deliver powerfully on the transformation you have promised them without burning yourself out or winging it. So if you're ready, let's get started. First, before we dive deep into this episode, I want us to have a mindset shift. And these mindset shifts are very critical, and there are three of them that I want you to know. The first mindset shift I want you to know is this. You're facilitating transformation, you're not teaching. Your job isn't to dump everything you know on your client. It's to guide them through the specific steps they need. And mindset shift number 2 is that structure serves your client. When you have a clear structure, your clients feel safe and trust the process. Random sessions feel amateur and then create anxiety because they are not sure of what to expect. The third mindset shift is that results comes from implementation, not information. Remember, your client needs to implement what you guided them on, so your program should prioritize on action over content. Alright, so I'm going to take you through a 3-phase transformation roadmap that you can adopt to help your clients. Every great program usually have these 3 natural phases. The first phase is the foundation, and this can be between the week 1 to week 2 of your engagement with your client. And these create clarity, alignment, and quick wins. So what happens in this first week? So you go deep into their current situation, you set clear, measurable goals, and then you create their personalized roadmap. Then you deliver one quick win to build momentum. An example of this is you could ask them, what's really keeping you stuck? What you want to do here is you want to dive into why they are stuck. Remember, in your first clarity session with them, they mentioned this, and you want to build on that momentum you created. You go deeper with them, and then you help them create a 90 days plan. We talked about future pacing. You can do that with them and draw out a customized roadmap that they would go through with you. If they have a picture of where they're going to be at the end of your session with them, it increases their willingness and expectation. We keep making them to show up because they want to have that result. Right? Remember that the goal for the first week to the second week is to leave them feeling clear on the path forward. Then let's look at phase 2. Phase 2 is the implementation stage. This can be from the week 3 to week 8, depending on how many week program you're running, right? So this week, this is where the real work begins, or where it happens. So what happens here is you're guiding them through your core framework step by step, or you're taking them through your roadmap step by step. You have to give them implementation assignment or action plans in between sessions to be able to help them dive deep into the transformation they are experiencing. And then you build momentum through consistent action. And these can flow in this way. You review what they've implemented, you help them walk through any challenge on what didn't work, and then you walk them through the next phase. And you can even do simulation with them, all right, and give them clear action steps. And usually in this phase, your goal is to actively implement and see progress in their transformation. Okay, so the last phase is the integration, and that usually happens from week 9 to 12. Remember, like I said, it depends on the number of weeks your program is. Some run 4 weeks, some 6 weeks, some 8 weeks, some 12 weeks. So it depends. But each of those number of weeks have these usual phases. Now, in this phase 3, the goal is to solidify the transformation and prepare them for independence, so they feel confident to be able to begin to build on the transformation they've gotten working with you. So here you want to refine what they've built, create sustainability system, and address remaining obstacles, and then help them to celebrate their transformation. Remember, for every transformational program you have, your accountability system must be solid, because this is where they are going to continually show up. If your accountability system is weak, it can as well weaken their momentum. So you want to give them a sense of accountability to be able to sustain their transformation. So you have options, like I mentioned earlier. You have 4 weeks, which could be for fast intensives. You have 8 weeks, some do 6 weeks, which is most common, and then you have 12 weeks for deeper transformation. Some go up to 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, depending on your niche and then the kind of client you're serving. So you choose based on the complexity and how much implementation time they require. Now, in between sessions, you have to provide them with support. So you have to structure your support system for them to be able to continue on that transformation. For most experts, they start out with first the weekly 60 minutes sessions, all right, where they have a time with the client and talk through on what they've done or they're working on. And then you have email support for questions, which you would respond within 24 to 48 hours. And then you can do a post-session summary and action items. So after each session, you can send like a summary and then action steps they need to take or what they need to do. Okay, so in that action step, what you're trying to do is what you've covered, action items, resources that they would need if relevant, and then next session reminder. So remember, at the end of every session, you can also make sure to have booked the next session with them on their calendar. So this is what you need to understand, the balance. You need to create a balance. Too little a support, the client will feel abandoned. They'll feel, I've paid for this month for these sessions and I'm not getting support. Too much support, you burn out as a coach or as someone who delivered the service to them. So you have to find a sweet spot in between to deliver your promise exceptionally well and help them to get the transformation they require. Here are a few common mistakes you need to avoid. Don't give extra sessions unnecessarily, and don't do endless support to prove your worth. You will burn out. So this is how you fix this. You deliver exactly what you promise exceptionally well. Mistake number 2 of what you need to avoid is don't show up without a plan, hoping intuition will guide you. Sessions feel scattered and result suffered. So what you want to do is you have an outcome of what the session for that day needs to be like. Remember, you already have a roadmap, so you're using the roadmap to plan for each session. Remember, as they coming back to that session, they might have 1 or 2 obstacles or 1 or 2 things they have faced. You can address that. But don't go for any session without a pre-planned outcome based on the roadmap you have. So what you can do is prepare at least 10 minutes before each session. Know what you are working with them on based on the roadmap. Mistake number 3 Don't make it about information. Don't lecture them. Information without action creates no results. They have YouTube, they have a lot of resources out there. So if it's about information they need, they would have gotten those information in the free space. They came to you because they need transformation. So, teach less, implement more. One framework plus an application beats 10 framework explained. So don't spend the whole day or this whole session explaining a framework. Give them practical steps on how to get results. The fourth mistake you don't want to fall into is ignoring boundaries. This is very important. You need to set these boundaries from day one. You need to let them know when you are available to take their calls, take their messages, how often you respond to their emails. Because if you don't set these boundaries, you will get a client sending you a message at 12 midnight, when you should be resting. So you need to set boundaries, and so that it would also contain their expectation. If the client know that they can send you a message anytime, it means that some of them might take that for granted, and that would disrupt your personal life. So boundaries doesn't mean you're mean, it simply means you're being professional. So the last but not the least mistake you want to avoid is not measuring progress. Track the information. You have to have the start of program baseline, mid-program check-in, and then end of program assessment. This will create a powerful workflow for you to see how the client has made progress, and that will give a very powerful testimonial for you. So talking about testimonials, let's look at how you can get testimonials. Remember, you need these testimonials as a proof of your work with people, right? So testimonials are very key, and this is how you can get a testimonial. You ask them. Don't be shy to ask for testimonial. So you can say something like, remember where you were in week 1? What's the biggest shift you've experienced, and what would you tell someone considering this program? So you want to make them think of where they were, what transformation they've experienced, and how they will share that story with a friend, and you ask them for that testimonial. So you can have at least 2 to 3 or 5 people share their testimonials, and these can serve as a reference for you, not just for other people to see what you have done with other clients, but it also boosts your confidence to know that you have helped this number of people to achieve results. Alright, so in wrapping up, here are some action plans I want to give you. This week, I want you to map out 3-phase structure for your program, and you create your session template using the framework we have discussed in this episode, and then you draft your welcome email. When they make their payment, what would it be like for them? You take them on a journey, and what boundaries and availability are you setting, and you can design how you will track your client's progress. And I want you to remember this. Your first client may not receive your best work. That's okay, because you're still trying to understand how to deliver on that promise. Every client makes you better. Every session builds your expertise. So don't wait until you have it perfect. Deliver transformation, lean and improve. So remember, structure creates confidence for you and for your clients. When you know exactly what you are delivering and how, you show up powerfully. So in closing, the difference between an expert who gets great results and one who doesn't isn't talent. It's their structure and their framework. So when you have a clear roadmap, a proven session format, and system that support implementation, transformation becomes predictable. So your clients don't need you to wing it. They need you to guide them through a process that works. They need structure that makes transformation inevitable. You've identified your expertise. You've attracted ideal clients. You've made sales. Now it's time for you to deliver the transformation so powerfully that your clients become your biggest advocates. The world needs experts who don't just talk about transformation. They need experts who actually deliver it. And you need to be that expert. This has been the Life Podcast with me, your host, Manuel. And until I see you in our next episode, keep living in full expression.